Hi, I'm Souvik and I am a CS undergrad from India. I'm in my final year of college and I also maintain AsyncAPI CLM. I found AsyncAPI during GSOC. I was looking for an open source project to contribute to and I stumbled upon AsyncAPI initiative. In the process of making application for GSOC, I spent a lot of time with the code base, learned about event-driven architecture, and got involved in the community. And at that time, I was pushing code to CLI on a regular basis because I was having my holiday at the time. And after like 2 months, Lucas asked me to join AsyncAPI as a maintainer of CLI. So I was like super happy. And after that, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing now. And this is my first open source project that I'm maintaining, and I'm super excited. And the community is super helpful and friendly, so the overall experience is awesome. This is AsyncAPI's first hackathon, and I really wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to build something that would improve the existing tooling for the community. After researching a bit and talking to Lucas, I found out that there's a use case where robotics had, and there was no tooling yet that was supported by AsyncAPI. So I thought maybe we could build something around that. So that's why I built AsyncAPI bundler, and I'd like to give you a walkthrough of my whole project. So let's go. So the project I built in this hackathon is AsyncAPI bundler, and just as the name suggests, it bundles multiple AsyncAPI files into one. For now, you can use bundler for two main use cases. AsyncAPI bundler can help you if your specification file looks something like this, where there are references to external files. Having this structure is beneficial as your specification files are well divided and you can reuse them effectively. Also, your specification files are quite less in size. But the problem arises while transporting these files. As the specification file depends on other files to resolve, misplacing or mistransporting them will break your spec file. Also, as of now, generator allows you to load spec files over internet. But having a structure like this, you cannot use this functionality. This is where AsyncAPI bundler comes to rescue. It resolves all the external references. Let me show you how it's done. So here is a specification file. You can see it has references. So it depends on this file to resolve, right? So AsyncAPI bundler also has a CLI, so you can just call it from your CLI. Let me show you. So it just needs the path of the file to load, right? So let's see. So this is the combined specification that it prints out. Now if you want to generate a new file, all you have to do is pass in a file name, and let's say it is naming it combine.yml. So the file is now generated, and as you can see, there is no references in this file. It has resolved all the references accordingly. So moving to the next use case. So the second use case was inspired from Zura Robotics, where they were using AsyncAPI to document their distributed system. So what happens, every service has their own spec file, which is helpful when you care only about one specific service. But when you want to work with the whole system, it would benefit to have a single specification file. This is what AsyncAPI bundler is aiming to solve. by letting you combine your complete specification files. Okay, so before you start with the example, I would like to there are some points to consider. All specification files should be valid and complete. What I mean by this is each individual specification file should follow AsyncAPI specification 2.0 and latest, and it should be able to be passed by the parser. And secondly, no two documents should define same channel or schema properties. Okay, so now moving on to the code example. So if you look at this specification file, it is a complete spec file that defines two channels. Okay, so now these two channels should be unique to this file. Firstly, second, this is defining documentation for audio interface. This is another file which is defining documentation for camera interface, right? So now we'll combine these two specification file and combine them into one. So let's we need to pass both the specification files as a parameters. So first, I'm gonna pass this base.yml as a base file. So what it's basically doing is telling bundler to override all these properties. So after merging, these properties will be overridden. So you can pass a base file which have custom properties that is not present in any other files, or you can also change some properties. So this is how you do it with here. And also pass in this file output file name. So it's done. Okay, so as you can see, this is the file that was generated right now, and it has been, see, the title has been replaced from the base YML, and you can also see that the server property was added from the base YML as well here, and the components were merged, see, and also all the channels are here as well. So this is what bundler does. You can also use AsyncAPI bundler as a library, and it also, so you can basically write your own scripts to manage how the different AsyncAPI spec files will be merged. As of now, there are some configurations currently supported. Before every specification file is merged, it is first validated. So you can also change this behavior by passing validate false as an option. Also, if you're using a different schema, you can pass in a custom parser schema as well. So next, the future of the project. As of now, the project is under my GitHub account. I would like to bring this project under AsyncAPI org and maintain it further. We might also add this feature in AsyncAPI parser.js itself, and then add support to our CLI. I don't know how we are going to go ahead with this, but you can see this feature soon in AsyncAPI tooling. So for some features that I'll be working next, currently AsyncAPI bundler does not support circular references, so that is something I'll be working on next. And secondly, this is something experimental. Instead of resolving external refs, will just merge the data and reference internally. So the generated file will have references, but they will not point to any external source. And thank you. This is AsyncAPI bundler in a nutshell, and thanks for joining the conference. See ya.